see trees of green, red roses.
Isabel, my God, the film you made,
Oh, I'm
and
so pleased that you had time to see it.
and what you've done with your life. I mean, I'm humbled. I think amazing. It's like wow, 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 wow.
Thank you, Ole. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's why I feel that we are really soul brother and sister, actually.
Yeah,
Because yeah, we are really seeking for the same, for truth, actually, truth by love and joy, but through kind of bravery. But you took much more risk than I did, remember, because I'm just traveling and meeting.
could you please take away the just word? I just this you my God, you dedicated your life in a beautiful
Yeah,
way. I'm just gonna fix Kim's painting here.
yeah, it's lovely. You change, huh? Every week you change it, or every webinar you change
Yeah,
the
it's
paint.
like she paints a lot, and so I have sort of like a gallery behind me when I do interviews, and people are really starting to follow, saying, "Oh my God, has Kim done anything new?" Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's beautiful, very beautiful.
Isabel, I can only say that if you ever would consider me for what was that, the nominee of Light and
Ah,
Joy or
ah,
something like that, if you ever consider it, I would see it as a great honor to be part
oh,
of that
but
group.
if I would have known you before, you would have been the first one on the list. The first one. No, of course. But I'm sure that our friendship is really the beginning of a beautiful collaboration,
Mm,
and that
mm.
we will go really far because I feel so close to you, to your work, to your commitment, to your values, to your vision. It's so fluid. So
Mm.
and I'm totally also dedicated to promote your work. It takes lots of time, yes, to
I know
translate,
that. I
but I
know that.
want to. I'm really motivated, and this is why we will do this masterclass, but also I will continue to translate your video. So I wanted to know if after this podcast or after all your testimony, your work, your analysis through the Trump attempt, for instance, if you had any feedback, anybody who tried to contact you or anybody who tried to threat you, or any journalist who want to join you also. You're still lonely, lonely,
Yeah,
lonely.
yeah. I never have any feedback like that. Sometimes people contact me with additional details or they point out stuff that maybe I've overlooked, and which is great, great, great because it really helps me, to find stuff because sometimes it's so way out there.
Mhm.
And no, and the thing is, like for instance, sometimes if I'm on a really big show, like coast to coast or something, and I think now it's no, it just goes like this. Sometimes it's the other way around that suddenly I got less view. Is my life is upside down. It really is like the better it goes, the harder it is.
Uh-huh.
It because of what I do. But it's yeah. What can I say? But it's there's a really weird thing going on around the Trump assassination that is connected to France, where did you see yeah, you saw the second
Yeah,
webinar as yeah,
question and
and
answer, yes.
in that I found this
Yeah,
weird thing with
the night,
a
yeah,
sword, and
the sword.
but also there's you got the uh, King Charles, King Charles that after the Queen Elizabeth died. Then King Charles took over, and he had this painting that he showed not that long ago, where
Yeah,
it looks like he's almost swimming in blood. It's like a really strange
yeah,
one with monarch butterfly, or at least a butterfly next to him. And then when this Southpaw stabbing took place in England at the same time, more or less. There was a stabbing of 3 children in England, more or less at the same time, where one of the kids, a little girl, was called B.B. King, Bebe King, B.E.B.E. King. And the stabbing itself, absolute bullshit, you know, but it's like the way they play with these psychological things. And so the king and the queen of England, I didn't even know that England had a queen, but now Charles's lover, she is now considered a queen. Anyway, so it said that the king and queen were horrified by the slaughter, the stabbing of Bebe King, like baby king. And then, because the whole thing seems to be going towards Trump becoming the king of kings, you know, instead of Jesus being the king of kings, then he is the Messiah. That's at least that is how I interpret these things. But then, well, I just recently found other stuff that was just like,
yes, the link with France, with the
yeah.
sword.
Okay, so the inauguration or the ceremony of the Olympics, you know, that was just a few days later. This thing with Trump happened on the 13th of July, which is the one day from your national day on the 14th, the day of the Bastille Day. And then at the inauguration of the Olympics, you had Marie Antoinette coming with her head in her lap, the beheading of Marie Antoinette in the opening ceremony. And I don't think that is a coincidence, this whole thing with there were so many weird things going on. Also, they had the last meal with all of these transgender type of things. And then almost like with a what do you call it? Like on the flat earth with a dome. Above them, they had like a dome, and then they were sitting down there, the Last Supper, just like Trump said, this will be the last election. You only need to do this once more, because after that, you're completely screwed. No, that's not what he said, but then we will have the whole thing rigged so that you can't get out. So, what was it I found recently? Yeah, I also found that the body cam footage from the police, the SWAT team that went out, I've looked through that whole thing. It's like, it's not even filmed on the same day. There's absolutely no people in the audience. It's completely empty, the field, even though the dead body is up on the floor, on the roof, the dead body. And so the whole thing, I'm 100% completely convinced that it was a staged thing but then somebody contacted me and said maybe they did like a David Copperfield swap, you know, where you got the stage like that, and then boom, one goes down through the floor and another one comes up with the makeup ready and everything. Because there is at least 2 Trumps, one with a red tie, one with a blue tie, so they could very easily do a swap like that. Or I don't know. I mean, he was down there for quite a while before he came up. But yeah, no, it's just bizarre. The whole thing is just so strange. Can I just say, I did not answer your question about reporters contacting me or anything like that. There is actually one Swedish reporter. His name is Per Shapiro. Shapiro, do you know Ben Shapiro? A really not nice guy in the States who's really hard hitting, but in a ugly way. Anyway, this guy has the same last name, Per Shapiro, but he used to work for Swedish national TV. And then at the COVID thing, he actually interviewed me right before COVID. And that interview seems like that was somehow stopped. And that was the thing that made him leave his job. And so he became a freelance and has been doing really amazing work. And being interviewed by him tomorrow.
Okay.
Because he had heard about the Trump thing, and he said he was blown away because he said that I managed to sort of, present it in a way that was understandable. So. And do you know what I did today?
No.
I have a friend, a Swedish friend here, who he's been living here in Bali for some 6 months, but unfortunately he's going back to Sweden now. and he brought like TV equipment, but like so he arranged for a small little studio, but the quality is amazing. It really is so good with green screen. It looks absolutely stunning. So because he's leaving on Wednesday, I said, would you mind if I use your equipment for like a couple of hours today? So he helped me, and what we did was I did intros and outros for about 40 documentaries. But super quality. It looks beautiful. I tell you, when you see it, it looks really good. Because what I do is I say, welcome to Light on Conspiracies. I'm your host, Ole Dammegard, and tonight we're going to talk about the Martin Luther King assassination, the JFK assassination, the Baltimore Bridge collapse, the Nice truck attack. So I'm doing all of these, boom, 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 boom. So I recorded about 40 ins, 40 outs. And what I'm going to do then is that will just be the introduction, and then I will go over to the PowerPoint itself, which I will change the background so that it will be the same background as in the studio, and then record that separately, and then I'll just edit them together so that the end result will look like it's like in a one, whatever you call it. But I just thought that was I'm super grateful that I could do it before he left. So if I look tired, it's because I've been, hello, welcome to Light on Conspiracies. I'm your host, Ole Dammegard, and
so next question I wanted to ask you, because I'm a bit how is it fascinated by or interpellé by two news. Of course, you know this news about Mike Lynch, who was whose sailing boat was who could drown and by allegedly weather forecast, bad weather. And 2 days before him, 2 days before his death, his co-accusé, his business partner, Stephen Chamberlain, was killed by a car. He was jogging and he was killed by a car while he was jogging. A woman has killed him by mistake. But I found these two news very bizarre. So I just want to ask you if, again, I'm Dammegarding a bit too much, or do you think there is could be something not natural in this both assassination or accidents?
Really good question. I've been looking into it myself, but it's like it's really hard to know what's going on. Yes, it could be natural. I mean, accidents happen, but when you start seeing a pattern like that, it's like really, really, and then a hit and run, more or less, accident at the same time, and close to a trial. I mean, it starts smelling, and so
it starts smelling.
Yeah, and so the question is, I mean, very good point that you're making, because yes, 7 drowned or whatever. I think, how many were they on the boat? Yeah, there were
22,
22
and 6 killed, and 12 has survived.
Yeah, and these numbers keep changing, and that is a sign also of that there's an operation going on. When the numbers keep doing like this, you see that, whoa, now they're starting to, because they're confusing us like this. And I've seen it already, that the number of deaths and also very often these numbers come up to something really not so nice. So there's different variations. One, they arranged it themselves to disappear. You know, to officially die, but they're not. These are very wealthy people that are in the process now, when more and more of us are becoming aware that we're like, wait a second, that guy over there, he did this, let's get him. But if he's dead, then there's a lot of people backing out right now, royalties and celebrities and people, CEOs of companies that just steps down and disappears in nowhere. What's going on? I think that there's a fear. There's also a lot of destruction going on. I think of evidence of things that many weird fires, where it's sort of like suddenly tax offices starts burning and official buildings start burning and stuff like that, where it could very well be, let's destroy this thing, because if suddenly millions and millions and millions of people are getting aware, we are very few and we've been messing with you for a long time without you knowing it. So they're trying to get out, I think. So there's a possibility that one or more of them could have arranged their own death. It could very well be one that arranged for his own death with the killing of other people associated with him that knew too much. So these people could be killed and one was officially dead, but not. Like, I think that if there's anyone that would arrange that, it would be Mike himself. When you see of the, I don't know too much about him, but very ruthless. I get an impression from ruthless and hard businessman like that. So if anything has been arranged, I would not be surprised if he was the one that survived, died, survived, slash, that is actually alive, now in a different location, getting a makeover, whatever. And the people that knew too much close to him went down, died, to get rid of these witnesses. So that
and
was
the survivors?
The survivors are most probably people that didn't know anything or wasn't too close or survived by chance. If it was such a job, then you got another variation that it was an attack on them. And then, okay, you can knock people out, throw them overboard, and then they die. Or if that weather thing was real, then very possibly, just like you say, with different type of directed energy weapons, where you can create all kinds of nature phenomena, like tornadoes, like all kinds of weird stuff that would create, and that could be very locally very locally isolated. So it could be a very tiny little area. I've never seen it used as a weapon like that to create like a mini tornado, because it seems like it was only around where that boat was. There was no other reports. So this could be an indication like, what? But then again, phenomena also happen naturally. But in this case, I mean, really, really.
Yeah, because an Italian witness said that he saw a flashlight, but not a flashlight, a natural flashlight. He
like
said
a lightning.
A lightning,
Yeah.
lightning, which was not natural at all. And then immediately this tornado occurred instantly. So,
and
I was
very often you have, when you want to create something like that, it is, I'm not an expert in this area, but to get weather phenomena, you need tension between cold and hot, very cold, very hot, to get the winds going, or the things like that. Or you charge the atmosphere, and then with the lightning, you just get it going. So it's like building it up, and then with the lightning, it goes like this. We lived near Gibraltar, Gibraltar in southern Spain, and there's a lot of weird things going on around Gibraltar. They have this atomic submarine base underneath the rock. But they're also, I think, testing stuff there, because people see, weird kind of UFOs or things like that. And sometimes we had some weather things that was just like, and there was one time we were walking down the beach, and we were feeling that it's just strange in the weather. And suddenly there was this lightning that just the whole shebang. I mean, I almost fell flat to my stomach, just freaking out. It was just unbelievably powerful. And sometimes we had chemtrail planes that was just marking, you know, with X's right on top. It was almost like they were marking a target for different tests where they were testing out different things. So yeah, I would be really grateful if you got any information
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
English, if you could
Oh,
please send it to me, because
yeah.
it's a very strange case. And the thing that, okay, so they were taken to court and then they were released, that means absolutely nothing. Because very often in these cases, when the pressure comes from outside, they take them to court, but the whole thing is rigged. And most of the times you got the lawyers and the district attorney and the judge are all Freemasons. So the whole thing is set up so that they will get off. And so I don't know enough about this case but
Okay. Yeah, but it's very
I
new.
really was like,
It's very
whoa.
new. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust it at all. And do you know, there's another, I'm in the moment at the moment I'm looking into, I think it is the biggest murder scandal in the history of Sweden. It's a serial killer of young girls in Sweden during the late 80s and all the way up to 98. And the thing is that there was a whole series of they call it the triangle of death in a certain area in southern Sweden, and I'm now tracking down that the police. There was one police officer that became very famous because they call him the super cop, because he managed to solve all of these murders. No, he nailed innocent people. He framed innocent people. And if I'm correct, then that police was part of a ring of, you know, with Eyes Wide Shut, these type of, there were these parties going on, and they had kids and they had the sacrifices and all kinds of stuff. And so I'm in the process of exposing their asses big time. Yeah, but I promised a guy that has been doing an enormous amount of work in this to stay low a little bit, because he's trying to get a court case going for one of these people that was innocently accused, or who was absolutely framed they really set them up incredibly. And another guy that was sentenced, he committed suicide in a mental institution because he just couldn't take it anymore. Innocent, completely innocent. But the reason I mention this is because in these cases, they use the same district attorney in all of them, the same super cop, it's the same small little team that are doing it and solving these crimes. They even made movies about them and TV series because they were so successful. They're driving around giving talks and stuff like that. They are the ones that killed these girls. The police were part of killing them, But one of these DAs, his name was Per Arvidsson, and Per is a normal name in Sweden, but the spelling, he uses an unusual spelling of his first name. And that DA or a guy that had exactly his position, exactly his name, the exact same spelling, died in a drowning accident in the Mediterranean. Just like this guy, they said that he died from drowning. He fell overboard, something like that. And so there were these headlines: DA Per Arvidsson died from drowning. Oh my God, it's so sad. It's so sad. And then at the same time, a DA with the exact same name, with the exact same spelling, with the guy who's involved in these cases, he's touring, giving talks about these cases. So it's like, what? So it's almost like, are they sort of diverting the attention away from them so that if something come up, they can say, well, no, it wasn't me. It was this guy with the exact same name. Because there's this super cop, his name also, there's another cop with the exact same name working almost parallel with him, where he is the guy receiving some of the calls, and then they say, no, it was him, it was him, it was. So these accidents or drowning accidents, I find them really like, whoa. So thank you for pointing it out.
I mean, thank you for answer. Next question. You have seen, of course, these last days that we had any, comment on dit, stabbing in Germany, or these attacks again, a way to divert the public opinion on something, and if yes, on what?
Well, my comment is
okay, yes.
So
okay, once more. Okay,
once again.
Okay, so we
So
agree that
it's absolute bullshit. I haven't even looked into
bullshit.
them because
Okay.
it's really hard for me to even look at them nowadays because it
Yeah.
is the same. The reason for these ones is that they want to take away the weapons from us. They're going for crossbows, they're going for knives, they're going for guns in the US, they don't want us to have anything we can defend us with. Soon they're going to be soon there will be like fork stabbings, like so that they will ban the forks, and then maybe there will be a spoon attack, so they will take away the spoons. They did it with the vehicles. Vehicle attacks, all of these. Do you remember the Nice truck attack, the Berlin truck attack, the Stockholm truck attack, the Barcelona van attack, the Toronto van attack, the Times Square van attack, the Melbourne car attack? It's the same theme. What was going on there? They wanted to make the vehicles the problem, and right after these things happened, there was this propaganda thing with autonomous vehicles, driverless vehicles. So for the smart city grid, so they were trying to make the vehicles the problem instead of crazy drivers, and then to get rid of the cars. Now they moved on because now the smart city grid is falling into place, or at least they're not these. They were very intense for a while there. I mean, it was all over the place. Car attack, car into crowd, bus into crowd, truck into crowd. All of them, bullshit. All of them staged events, if they even happen. And so they moved on. Right now, I see there was the last year or so, they've been going for bow and arrows and crossbows. So in England, recently, there was this horrible thing with a crossbow attack where there was this TV producer whose family was killed by this crossbow. And many times when you look at the bigger attacks, you will see that either the witnesses or the witnesses comes from three categories, more or less always. People from media, TV, radio, or theater. Then you have from government, or you have from
actors.
Yeah, exactly. Media or actors, some kind of actors, radio or TV actors or like that, or from government. I mean, it's like when the Stockholm truck attack happened, out of 24 witnesses that saw the truck, 23 of them belonged to one of these three groups. It's like, you cannot make it up. And these people, after this happened, their career goes like this. When they've been loyal, their career goes like this. So this guy was some sport reporter from BBC, and his wife and daughter was murdered with this bow and arrow. The photos also, I'm going to have it in my newsletter here. The photo of the crossbow, it's absolutely, you see, it's really not well done in Photoshop. They enlarged the crossbow like this, and the background doesn't match up, and then the license plate on the car is messed up. They're trying to, often they send messages in the license numbers as well. You had another German attack a few years ago in not Meinheim, not Münster. I think it was Münster. There was this, no, that was a car attack. He drove in and killed some people there. But the license plates were NYC 911, NYC 911, 911, in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And the other was, I mean, normally it's more subtle than that, but it was really bizarre because that attack there in Münster was indirectly pointing to the White House, upcoming attack on the White House. I did everything I could to expose that one, because it's a long story, but you know, this weird way that they put the clues out there. And the thing was, in Münster, when that attack happened, there was this statue of like he's a special type of legend in Germany, apparently. It's a little bit like the piper, you know, with the mouses.
Ouais, le musicien de Brême, les musiciens de Brême, it's with the mouse. Yeah, le musicien de Brême, the musician of Brême with the mouses, le joueur de flûte.
Yeah, but it wasn't him. He was some other guy. But anyway, so when the attack happened, it happened at a restaurant, and I really looked into it in my newsletter. I've you know, please contact me or let me know, because I'll send you these newsletters if you're interested. Anyway, so the people were killed in one area of the town square, and they had opened up so that the car could come in, because normally there were these bollards, so it couldn't come, but they would be kind enough to open up so that the car could go in and kill these people officially. But the thing was, when everybody put down the flowers, including members of the parliament and all of these people came there, they put the flowers in front of the statue, not where the people were killed, but in front of the statue. This is what they very often do. There's a statue of some kind of that has some kind of importance in the whole setup. We had this in Mannheim recently as well. It happened the stabbing there, it happened right in front of a statue, and the whole town square was like a Freemasonic sun god pattern like that. But that statue, because I thought, why are they putting the flowers in front of the statue? Why are they not putting it where people died? It doesn't make any sense. And you had like the counts, the Reich Chancellor or whatever they're called in Germany. They were there and bowing in front of this statue and putting down flowers, color-coded flowers like magenta and purple. And so I started looking into this statue because I thought there's something with the statue. And that statue had become a symbol at the end of the Second World War because it was the only thing that survived the bombings. The whole Münster area was bombed to smithereens. The statue was there. So it became sort of a symbol also for the Nazis that were still fighting. It became like a symbol to stand up, you know, and fight back. And so I looked into that one, and there's this very, very odd artist in the US called Jeff Bloom. I think
Jeff Koons.
He makes like balloon animals. Yeah, exactly. That is a very bizarre individual. He makes like really sexual sculptures and like of naked women with half the head missing, no brain, but an open mouth and a naked body, and with children and really weird things. But anyway, he had made a sculpture, a copy of that sculpture, and put right in front of the White House, right in between the big monument, you know, the big obelisk in Washington, D.C., and not the White House, the Capitol, what is it called? The Capitolium, you know,
Lincoln Monument?
The Lincoln Monument. No, yeah, but where... Anyway, it was exactly between the obelisk, which is super Freemasonic, and the Capitolium. Capitolium, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. So it was and this statue was pointing straight to the White House as well. So I really believe that what they were pointing was towards the Capitol. Yeah, whatever the name is. And it was at that very same time also that Keith Sutherland was part of a movie or series called Designated Survivor, where you have the exact scenario of that everything, the whole parliament, everybody gets killed. He is the only one that survives and gets to take, and that was exactly at the same time. Kiefer Sutherland is an interesting character. I don't know how much he's aware of, but he's being used in the agenda. He was the guy in 24. Do you remember the series 24 when he was working for the FBI?
24 heures chrono, 24 hours chrono.
Yeah, which was a great series in many ways. But that was the thing, I believe, that was a psyop, a psychological operation to get us used to a black president. Because there was that series that made that whole open our mind into the thing that accepting a president. In the background, for many years, they had prepared Barry Soetoro, former CIA operative in Afghanistan, that came in and became this constructed identity that we now know as Barack Obama. But it was through that series that they opened up and just got us prepared for the whole thing. Are you still there?
Okay. Yeah, I'm of course.
Very often they do it problem, reaction, solution. They make the current situation a problem.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, in those days, it was that they did Boy George Bush. He started going really mad, like wild with wars and everything. And people would just, oh my God, oh my God. In the end of his the second term, when he was put in back in. And so that was becoming a major problem. They was being pumped out, look at George Bush, he's crazy, he's an alcoholic, he's like this, he's only out playing golf. So people were becoming, oh my God, that's a problem. To get the reaction, something needs to be done. And suddenly in that whole thing, 24 opening up the mind for Barack Obama. I mean, they could almost be brothers, the actor of that is in 24 and Barack Obama. And then in on stage, like almost with smoke bombs and a guitar solo in the background, came this constructed identity that we now know as Barack Obama, being named the best president ever before he was even elected, and it's like unbelievable. And now they're doing the same thing, because now they're doing with Biden. They're saying, okay, problem, reaction, solution. You look at Biden, he can't even walk. He keeps falling over all the time. He's got Alzheimer's and he's dementia. He's got a diaper on. He's falling off bicycles. He's funneling little girls and black men and stuff like, creating a problem so that we think, oh my God, something needs to be done. And in on stage, what is the reaction? It's like, and the solution, their solution is the new messiahs. I think this whole thing is coordinated to push us in that direction where they want us.
There is another topic I would like to explore with you. Since you're a musician, you know quite well, of course, about the world of music and about frequencies. I would like to know, I would like you please to explain us, according to you, who were as well as the actors, Hollywood, and from Hollywood to music, it's more or less the same world somehow. According to you, who are the musicians and actors who are awake, who went into the rabbit hole, who are trying to share the music and by using a frequency that is opening our mind, our heart, and our spirit, and maybe because also some others who are totally working for the shadow. So what is your idea or knowledge about all world?
I think that there are many aware in this in the world of musicians and actors, but very few that has the courage to step up and do something about it.
Let's start maybe by musician, Ole. For instance, Leonard Cohen. For me, Leonard Cohen was somebody who were aware about the Matrix.
Who was that?
Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen, he's very, very famous.
I'm very aware of him. I think as far as I know, there's quite a lot of dark stuff around him. I mean, I loved his music
Okay.
and Hallelujah and these songs. I mean, absolutely amazing. But I haven't looked enough into him. But as far as I know, he was complete. He was Israeli,
Ah, yeah.
Jewish, and the whole Kabbalah in the background was there. He
Okay.
he is also related to several of the other Coens that are in Hollywood and in the music business as well. So yeah,
Beatles versus Rolling Stones.
I think the Beatles is a completely separate phenomena, a Tavistock product.
Ah,
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I love the beat, but the more you
yeah.
look into it, if you're interested in the Beatles, a friend of mine, Mike Williams, has done incredible work of exposing that whole group, and the whole thing is a manufactured boy band that was put together by the
Mhm.
Tavistock Institute that are specializing in propaganda and how to divert the attention of the public mind in whatever direction they want. So I think the reason the Beatles came when they came was to divert the attention away from the JFK assassination that happened just a few months before they suddenly hit the world like this phenomena. But and when you really start looking into the Beatles, it is unbelievable. I mean, they didn't
Mm.
write the songs themselves. They didn't. They couldn't produce them the way they were being told. It is a whole group of composers that have put together these songs. That's also why they're so incredibly different. And when you look at them from a music theory point of view, it's like, oh my God, this is so
Mhm.
advanced. It is so advanced. And then
Mhm.
you see them from She Loves You, yeah, 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 from there,
Yeah.
and suddenly they have these. Where did they learn these things? They did not. So the
Mhm.
key person in this was Gordon. No, what's his name? Their producer, a guy that I thought was absolutely amazing. He was amazing. I even been to his studio in London. What's his name? Come on, but he was, I think, also the controller of the group in the whole shebang. But what you're saying in the world of music, in the world of sports, in the world of movies as well, it seems to be the same setup that you have to sign deals with very dark forces, and these forces control you. And unfortunately, very often also you have to make a sacrifice for the success. You will get all of the good, the gold and success and cars and women and drugs, whatever you want, but it comes with a very, very high price. And so I think more or less everyone who is successful in these areas have, at least in the movie business and to a large extent in the music industry as well, not always that they're aware of it. They're not. I recently became friends with the guitarist and the producer for Roxette. Do you remember Roxette?
Well, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
His name is Christopher, and he is one of the first who are stepping forward. So I've helped him on several of these bigger shows where he
Mm-hmm.
can talk about these things. He was not aware of anything. He was not aware of anything, even
Mm-hmm.
though he's been in the business his whole life. It's only recently that he started waking up to it. And he said, like, I had no idea. And he's looking at their own albums. He's looking at the photos of the group. He's looking at all of, he said, I had no idea. They have all of the thing, you know, with one eye and the Freemasonic checkerboard and all of these things. He said, I had no idea. I had no idea. And but they were being used by, it's with all of these operations, they're completely compartmentalized, that people only know their little bit of the whole thing.
But there's some who can escape somehow the matrix. For instance,
Yeah,
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, he went
yeah,
through at the far end of the world in
yeah.
Australia. I think he tried to extract
I
himself from the.
No, but he is Australian. So, but I agree. Mel Gibson, you got Roger Waters in Pink Floyd. There was
Voilà, Pink Floyd, exactly. I
yeah.
want to mention him.
You have there. Do you remember the group, The Course?
No.
Like three beautiful sisters. They look almost identical with long brown, and they
Okay.
have their brother on guitar. The Course, Cours, The Course, and he was
Yes.
really very active. The brother of this group of siblings, but then he disappeared. I've been contacted over the years by a couple of musicians in Sweden on a very high level, but no balls, no backbone, nothing. They know, they're aware, but they don't. It's like they say, if they say a word, their career will just go like this. Oh, do you know the schedule and these things? It will just be disappear. But I said, or maybe you will be the first one, and suddenly your bookings will go like this because you will be the first one that dares to stand up. I mean, one of them even came down to Spain. We were going to meet for a coffee, but he didn't dare to show up. It's like, come on. I don't,
And what about Keanu Reeves, who said that Matrix was not a fiction?
who is that? Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu, as far as I know, is a good guy. At least this is what we're being told all the time, but it feels to me that that is true. And The Matrix, I think the first movie is almost like a documentary.
Yeah, a documentary, exactly.
It's really interesting, that movie. I think The Truman Show is very interesting as well.
Yeah, this is my favorite one, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a Rothschild that is the producer of that movie. He's part of the Rothschild family.
Ah, yeah.
And the thing is that they're telling us what they're doing because of the law of karma. They're putting it out there. You got Wag the Dog, Wag the Dog.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know that one that seems to be based more or less on the Monica Lewinsky event, that was released 2 months before the Monica Lewinsky event happened?
Yes.
That is like,
Yes. Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What? Because how long does it take to make a movie like that? So I think the whole Monica Lewinsky incident was a complete psychological operation to divert the attention away from other stuff. So I think with all kinds of truths, first they ridicule you, then they attack you. And this is like the different steps. They first make you look like an absolute joke. Then if you continue going, they will start attacking you. Then they will punish you. But if you still go, then suddenly one day they turn around and then they will say, well, this is what we said all the time. Yeah, we completely agree with you. So it's like, what? No, you did not. Yes, you did. Just like the Bilderberg group, that they were sort of like, no, it doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist. No, it doesn't. Then people were attacked for really looking into it. And then one day overnight, suddenly no, it's of course, we've always said that it exists. And so sometimes also at psychologically good timings for them, they throw us a bone, things that they've been denying for a long time. Then when it's not dangerous for them to admit anymore, they throw us a bone. And in this case, this might be the thing, now the moon landing is, if they start admitting that it never happened, then it doesn't really matter, but we get occupied.
Since you are now very much aware about the lie, about manipulation, about fake news, about false flag, how is it behind the wall of the matrix for you, who is behind now, who is not anymore addicted or hypnotized by all these news? How does the life look like on the other side for you? This is my first question. And the second one is, why then do you continue if you can feel the joy being, or whatever, we'll see now what will be your answer, but then why do you continue to try to show the lie and the fake?
Excellent question. And what I've learned over these years is to detach myself.
Yeah.
This is also one of the basic and most difficult things in Raj Yoga, is to detach from reality, detach emotionally, detach, and also more and more understand that maybe we are living in a matrix. Maybe this is just an illusion. Maybe this is our souls having a bodily experience, and so on. And if so, or we're just seeing the shadows on the wall, and actually it's going on behind us when we're staring in this direction. So what I try to is detach, see it in different levels, so that I'm down here on a street level doing my utmost to protect people and inform and all. At the same time, my higher self is completely calm and looking at it from above, just like, this is such an incredible playground and such a fantastic way of experience anything from horror to romance to joy to sadness. It's wonderful. And but when I get too deep into it, like for instance, when after I came home from Iran, and I'd helped these people out. I don't know. I was a mess.
I read it.
I was a mess for several years. I took it so seriously. But it was like, for me, a deep dive into suffering, because in Iran, the whole culture, the music, everything, they worship, they adore pain, they adore suffering, they adore death, and the whole, which was at that time amazing for me. It helped me break my inner walls. But then it like, then I come here to Bali and they don't even believe in death. And they're sort of like, yes, my sister died yesterday, and they look happy. I'm like, what? We're here. We went to a cremation, and it was the sister of a woman who helps us, but she's almost like family. We really tried to help her sister when she was sick, but in the end she died. And so we were invited as the only whiteys to the cremation. And so we went there, and I mean, I haven't seen a cremation before, but it was like they opened up, the body was there, all of these things with flowers and stuff. And then into the whole thing, put the whole thing on fire. There was a lot of sadness. At the same time, while the cremation was going on, while the fire was going on, we were invited for lunch just 30 meters away from the fire. And we were sitting there eating, looking into the flames of this, like when they was standing there trying to get the skull loose from the skeleton and knock it like that, and you heard boom, that was the brain that exploded. No, but it's like, and then Agung, our friend, I mean, she loved her sister. I mean, she's still really devastated. But at the same time, she was sitting there and she said, listen, in like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, it will be finished, because then there's still some meat on the bone that needs to burn first. But then after that, and I'm like, you're talking about your sister. And afterwards, when they stopped the fire, they just pulled out like a metal sheet with the bones on it. They had to like crush the bones, and then the family picked the best pieces of the bones from and put it together in a small little package where the priests decorated with flower and perfume and holy water and blessings and all. But I'm just like, if that had been my daughter, I mean, I can't even. I can't even. Yes, let's me pick that's a really good piece of bone from her. And this is like, let's have some more lunch. And is there anything for dessert, in the meantime, when she's burning? I mean, so it's like from one extreme to the other, because they completely believe in reincarnation. It is the truth for them. So it's a matter of boom, they're out, boom, they come back in. So for me to come back to this whole thing is, I have a beautiful life. I have an absolutely beautiful life. And sometimes I get scared. I got scared a little bit around the Trump thing when I noticed that, fuck, I'm the only one. I'm as far as I can see globally, I'm the only one pointing exactly at what happened. everybody else was buying into the official narrative, saying, yes, it's staged, yes, it's fake, but they were just going with the all of these red herrings that was built into the operation. And suddenly when there's only one saying things, it's sort of like, ooh, I don't really like this one. But at the same time, you see, because that is also when I've been having, when bad attacks has happened early on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's but I have a beautiful life. So I don't freak out now. I get scared at airports. I get scared at roadblocks. I'm very uncomfortable if I'm being interrogated or things like that. That is, I've had too many of these things, the bad ones. So, but normally I completely detach. And when Kim, my sweetheart Kim, she was in Spain a few months ago, and to finish her life there, she came home with one box. From 20 years in Spain, one box. But anyway, so at that, while she was gone, I had was a major part in stopping the release of these gene modified mosquitoes from hell that they were going to release here in Bali. So in 10 days, I got it started from with the help of the network I have here, that I was told about it, and within 10 days it would up at the level of the president and the head of intelligence, all of these things about what was actually going on, because they didn't know. So anyway, but at the same time, I was starting to really get very uncomfortable, because like this, immigration can throw us out so easily. And here I was dealing with people in these power positions that I do not know. I mean, they're corrupt, the whole bunch, if you ask me. And and so one night after Kim came home at 9 o'clock, I mean, we live in a Balinese area. There's no lights outside. There's no. And 2 nights in a row, somebody just bang, bang, bang on the door. I mean, I freaked. I mean, my heart was just like, I'm really jumpy. I have PTSD from, I'm not really sure from where, but I mean, loud sounds, this body jumps, I tell you that. So did I answer your question? I enjoy life, and I'll do. And then you asked, why do I continue?
Why do you continue? Yeah.
Because
if it's peaceful on the other side, then why do you continue to try to wake up the people?
I was adopted by the Apache Nation, and the reason they adopted me was that they said, you fight everyone's war, you face danger, you understand our way of thinking, you stand up in the face of danger, and the thing is, I think I have this Dharma thing contract I signed maybe before I came down here. The operation is save the world. It's not about me. It is. I mean, I've been down this like more than 40 years. It's never been pro me. Let me get stuff like that. On the contrary, I paid a very high price in many ways. So, but it's because I care.
Yeah, of course. We can see that how much you care for others.
Yeah, it takes one to know one, Isabel. It takes one to know one. You recognize me because you are the same.
Maybe.
No, not maybe.
It's true that I truly love human beings, and I truly once they're good too. And but maybe another tricky spiritual question. I know that you are also quite close from Vedanta, because this is also one of your spiritual path is the Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta, in which it is said that, as you know, that all is one, and the source, the divinity has split itself, into millions of pieces, into the world of separation and duality, to experiment love. Okay, so this is what Vedanta says, I mean, in few words. So if it's the source or the loving intelligence who has separated itself from itself in order to live love or experiment love through separation, then is there still something to save? Is there still a world to save? You know, what this is a question I'm asking you.
Super question. I don't know the answer. Because sometimes I think I'm saving the world, but am I? Who am I actually saving? It could be this one, or trying to save, because I see suffering out there that I recognize. I see separation out there that I recognize, and I am here to heal and stop the violence, stop the madness, and so on. But who am I? Who am I actually doing it for? You know, so it's like somebody was giving. I was given when I was adopted by the Apache Nation. I was also given an Indian name, Wayan Wiyak Payela Wansi. It means bright one. All of these letters, Wiyak Payela Wansi, means bright one. Okay, and so this woman was helping me with the numbers. I don't know really how she calculated all of these things, but what she said, because I was talking about, should I tattoo this name on me, because I have Ole and I got Arjuna. Arjuna is my spiritual name given by my spiritual teacher, and I identify a lot more with Arjuna than Ole. Ole has always been a strange name to me. I'm never really, but Arjuna, boom. And here in Indonesia, they love the name Arjuna. So when I say Arjuna, they go, "Oh my God, Arjuna!" It's amazing. I love it. But Wiyak Payela Wansi, strange name, and so I asked her if I combine them, because it's almost like, you know, the three parts of creation or whatever. Am I, as an individual in this meat suit, should I combine the three? And so she was calculating the different numbers of the three together. And she said, with my Indian name, Wiyak Payela Wansi, she said that it's a very unusual number combination, also because there's so many letters in the whole thing and calculation, all of these. So it's very unusual to come up to that number. But she said that number signifies somebody who's been sent down here from a spiritually high place, who's seen that, oh my God, my brothers and sisters are in a mess. I'm going down, and to come down here to assist in the healing, but to a great cost. The price is suffering. So through suffering, transmute this thing into beauty. But the road, the path is through suffering, and I've always felt that it's almost like I've put myself in situations where I've been bitten by the snake, and then my job has been to transmute the poison instead of hitting back, instead of because this is for, if I can only say this, I've always, my whole life, I've had a problem with violence, when people are getting hurt, when people are getting bullied, when they're not being treated in a just way. I cannot be quiet. I cannot be like that. And so I put myself in many different situations, just like you, war zones, it's not a coincidence. And in these situations, we trained ourselves, I think, to transmute, take in the pain, but to lift.
Yeah, we call that a collective karma, actually.
We're being told that we live in a world that is based on love. I think it's in the illusion of life, it's a sadistic, masochistic, bizarre situation we are in right now. But when we transcend, we reach love. But where we are in this soup right now, It is
Yeah.
unbelievably
Yeah.
mad and weird and
Yeah.
bizarre. I feel a lot like Neo in the Matrix, where other people are pointing, saying, "You're the one. You're the one." And he's saying, like, "I don't think so. I don't get it. What do you mean I'm the one?" And I feel very much like that I am the one in the one I've been waiting for is me. I mean, I'm the one that has gone my path. If we are in an illusion, if we are in a matrix, then I am the main character in my illusions. And in that illusion, I am the one. And the key is to transcend it. And the transition for me is to strive for oneness, to get out of duality. I'm very tired of duality. And through different type of ceremonies like bufo or ayahuasca or stuff, I've had really bad experiences, all of them, like really dark, like whoa, scary as hell.
Yes. Yeah.
But I've seen other people have incredible experiences. But I'm now through meditation, through Joe Dispenza meditations. We're doing it very intensely, and it's like I'm starting to. I feel that I'm transcending it. Things are happening, and it's also. I tell you, I had the weirdest thing there yesterday. I mean, I was sitting. I just woken up. I was just gonna do a meditation, and suddenly I just had imagination or whatever, but I was told you have two sets of parents. The parents you had in this lifetime, meat suit lifetime, that are now dead, and another pair of parents. And then I saw this image of two, they were blue. I didn't see any face or anything like they stood like Mother Mary, almost like with hoods, completely silent, but very tall, like that next to each other. I felt man and woman. And they said, these are your parents. And then something with star seed. I just remember the word star seed. And I've never heard that word before. So I asked Kim, and she almost fell off the chair saying, what? Because star seed apparently is some also light beings coming from somewhere else on a mission. And I've always felt since I was a child. I mean, when I was 3 years old, people said, what are you going to be when you grow up? I said, I'm going to be a stuntman or save the world. And I think I combined the two. So it's like, and it's also, I have these, like I've got all of these documentaries and one movie and one water invention that can save billions of liters of water, and the books and my music and all of these. I've always felt that these things have has come through me. It's not that because I can hardly remember how did I do it? How did it come? I'm not really sure. I have no idea the lyrics I wrote. Where did they? I don't know. But I've always felt that they came somehow. I was sort of the tool and to manifest them. But I've come 95% of the way with so many of them and then stop. And I've kept being told, you're too early. It's too early. It's too early, But now I feel it's not too early anymore, because it is now. It is really now, because I want to just get these babies born. I'm pregnant up to here. Get the babies born out and do good in the world. And so I read about these starseed, whatever it was, and it said that many that has this starseed thing has like an activation code in them that will activate on a specific date, or that can spontaneously be activated. And I really hope that I'm getting close to that. If that is true, activate me, beam me up, Scotty. I'm ready, baby.
Do you think, Ole, that during your lifetime you will assist to some awakening of some part of the people?
God, yeah. Give me a month.
A month? Okay.
I tell you, no, this because it's interesting for me, because I'm like, is this my ego pushing me in this way, or is it something else? And of course, my ego loves to be seen. There you go.
But
but otherwise
you
than
are
that,
aware of it. You can, as long as you observe that, it's okay. I mean,
yeah,
it's okay. It's fine.
And I always, before interviews or whatever, I have this prayer where they ask to my ego out of the way and so on. So I see, when I look at my future, I see stadiums. I see myself as a global peace advisor. I see myself as somebody who has no clue about a lot of stuff, but I'm really good at looking through bullshit and will be honest. We'll be honest. Just like my daughter, when she was born, I told her I have no clue what I'm doing as a dad, so bear with me. But whatever the thing I can promise you is, whatever you ask me, I will answer you truthfully. And my God, has she asked me questions? Oh, but it worked now. Finally, now she's soon to be 20, and now I can suddenly see that, whoa, this has really was part of really grounded into her. She's become this warrior soul, very peaceful. I mean, really, I'll send you a photo of her, but where you can see her soul coming through. I learned a lot from her. I tell you this, she's come and boom, she's here to make a difference.
How can we develop, according to you, how can we work on this muscle of perceiving the truth behind the false?
I can only say from myself.
Yeah, of course.
If it's fear-based, you're off track. If you get scared, you're off the path. If you're into aggression, you're off the path. If you're into depression, you're off your path. If you are ego-driven, you're off the path. If you are all of the lower vibrations, you're off the path. It's like I almost have like a, do you know these on an old fishing boat where you had, like, if you go off track, it go beep beep beep, 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 beep. So the way I see it is, when we stay on our path, the path is the thing that gives us goosebumps. Your trip, your road trip, you followed that. It was not a straight line. You went like this. This was your exact path that you followed. Unbelievably beautiful, Isabel. Beautiful. You followed. I get goosebumps just talking about it, because you followed your inner voice. Should I go left? Should I go right? I turn right. You followed that. There was no map. There was no nothing. You were the one following your map. That's the way to go through life. And the way to follow is like when you get emotionally, I think that our emotions are there to help us. You're off track, fix that. Just like pain is saying, don't do that because it's not good for your body. Yeah. So
it's joy. Yes, it's for me. I share totally your vision and it's for me. It's joy. As long as you remain in this feeling of joy, it's true.
But it's but it's also in horrible situations. I mean, you have been to war zones, you've been to camps and stuff like that. The suffering is immense. But if you're pure in your empathy, if you're pure in your tears, I mean, there's nothing as beautiful as pure tears, I think. Just like pure joy, it's the purity of it that is the thing.
Yeah. How do you foresee the coming months until around the US election? Do you have any pressentiment already? Do you smell already anything regarding psyops or diversion of our attention? Can you say anything about that?
I have no clue. I know that they're gonna try a lot of mad stuff, So what I focus is on here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now. and just be in the moment, be in the, I mean, something incredibly beautiful can happen now. Something incredibly horrible can happen now. It's the Third World War. It's world peace. Boom, boom. It can go very fast in these times. And I find it really interesting that in Balinese, the way they see time, this is the year 1945 in Balinese time. So it's the end of the war, of the Second World War, but in Balinese time, 1945 is exactly right now. And the end of the, so it's like, I think we're at the end of times and the beginning of times. There's the death and birth going on at the same time, and a purification process that is, depending on how we deal with it, is really painful and horrible. But just like when you're born, if you can relax into the squeezing out of this birth tunnel and just accept and flow with it and go with it instead of fighting against it. If you fight, you're in for pain. If you accept, adjust, and just accommodate and do, it's like Nelanie, our Raj Yoga teacher, she says, do you know, like we're like tools in God's toolbox. And if you're a hammer or a saw or whatever, you know, at times God doesn't need a hammer or a saw or whatever. So you're just hanging there waiting. And so in the meantime, when you're just hanging there, focus on purifying your mind and do selfless service. Then one day suddenly God says, well, I really need a saw now. And boom, you're in action. I'm preparing for being in situations where I can help to calm things down and point in a good direction, and really be there for all life, animals, humans, nature, and just lift this and oneness, to get up into that frequency where suddenly the duality just stops. People keep saying, no, but you can't, duality needs to be there. Up until now, I don't believe that we have to live in duality at all. I think that if you look at the big masters and these ones, they said there's a oneness. There's a oneness. You just need to get up there. And that is hard work, at least for me, to get into that state. But I've been there, I've smelled it, I've been touching it like that. And I want to live. I've been able to get into these with my eyes closed, but I want to live like that with my eyes open and be in that oneness.
Beautiful.
And so that is hopefully, I hope tomorrow.
What is your relationship with the Christ, actually?
Jesus, I see him as a super hacker. I see him as somebody who cracked the code.
Exactly, I agree. I agree with you.
Who saw that, listen, guys, I've just experienced that if a higher frequency annuls a lower one, which we can see in laboratories, then why not go for the highest? And whatever the problem is, go for the highest and make it easy for yourself. So whatever the problem is, meet it with love. Boom, solved. And let's get on with life. Let's enjoy. And then we nailed him to a cross and said, thank you so much. And I mean, but I think it was almost like humanity said, don't give away the game. It's too early. All of these people want to go through all of this whole thing. So you need to shut up. So we're going to kill you and nail you to a cross. And maybe in 2000 years, you can come back again. You know? No, so I have no idea. I think that the thing that we're living in, this emptiness, which is not empty at all, that it's compassion that is the energy that is vibrating and keeping us alive. I love compassion.
Yeah, you are breathing compassion. We can see that through your work and investigation. You're just compassion. This is what is actually beautiful, and we are not used to that, because usually journalists or how to say, the influencers, they are attacking. They know they are right. They want to persuade you. They are much more into the energy of will. then softness and acceptance, that which is actually your energy, but in the same time you're very firm and you're positioning yourself for truth and voila.
Voila.
Ciao.
Kisses, boom, 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 boom to all of you. My
See you
candle is still
soon.
burning for you.
Yeah.
And
All
as
the
they
best,
say here,
Ole.
as they
Thank
say
you
in
for
Indonesia, sampai jumpa.